It's available now.
You don't have to wait for a holiday when you can save now at Mermaid Mattress.
Okay, we are doing an awful lot of sitting these days, from kids to adults to your next door neighbor. All of us, I think, seem to be hunched over a computer or a phone. Doesn't take too much to realize that before too long, we're going to slouch a little bit. Our posture's going to suffer. So very happy this morning to welcome Vida Zagorodny. She has Posture Solutions Therapy, and she is going to get us not only sitting up straight, but finding out how your body can be retrained to do what it's supposed to do. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Julie. Thank you for having me.
This is very timely for me because I don't know if it's a result of being slouched over a computer and looking at my phone too much, or just nature and gravity kind of taking its course now that I'm in my 50s, but I'm finding myself having a harder time really pulling up straight. That's typical?
Yes, very typical. And you know, it's starting to become even more typical people my age in their 30s. So used to be people again, would feel it maybe in their 50s and 60s, but now, like you mentioned, with more people are sitting, more people are over their technology, our posture is learning these incorrect habits over time, and so we're getting chronic tightness, chronic immobility at a very early age. So it's starting to get very common.
I will not dream of trying to pronounce the type of training you have, but I will set you up. You trained in Atlanta. What's very interesting about this is that you essentially teach people over a period of time the tools they need to then go on their own to a life full of correct posture.
Yep, that's correct. The method is called Egoscue. The gentleman who came up with it, it's his last name. So that's where that came from. But yes, I'm actually a kinesiologist. I've got my degree from Georgia State in Atlanta in bachelor's in kinesiology. And on my path to trying to figure out what career choice I wanted, I was gearing towards physical therapy, but then I stumbled across the Egoscue method in Atlanta at a clinic. And just a few weeks of interning and then a few months of being there, I decided, well, looking at how the whole body is treated from head to toe was definitely what I wanted to immerse myself into. So I got certified there's a university in California as well that does this. So I got certified, worked in Atlanta for a couple of years, moved to Chattanooga with my husband because I'm from here and we've got small kids, so we wanted to raise our family here. I thought, well, there's no one doing this here in Chattanooga, so let's bring the posture world to this area.
Well, let's talk about your children, because that's a great place to kind of segue too. So my initial thought had been, oh, this will be beneficial for me and just the posture side of things. You talk about your children, and if they can develop the correct posture, it's not just a physical, it's a mental benefit they get too, right?
Right. Going back to technology, I mean, it's great to one point, but then so many kids, and I catch my kids doing this too, they want to watch TV, they want to lay on the couch, they don't want to go outdoors. And so our bodies, we're all born with a specific design and a specific function, obviously if we don't have any congenital issues. And so as kids grow in age, there's a reason for tummy time, there's a reason for crawling first, there's a reason for sitting up and then standing and then walking. It's the different joints and muscles are learning their position and their function and movement. And so we have to encourage our children to move because they will at an early age create bad posture habits. Especially teenagers, you sit a certain way, and over time, I work with a lot of teenagers right now who've got hips that are higher on one side than the other, and they've got a shoulder higher on this side, just based on what they've been doing, the way they're sitting in class and things like that. And so now their spine's getting all twisted. And so we're hearing that dreaded word of scoliosis, but really it's just functional scoliosis. It's just the body shifting out of its design, out of its alignment, creating spinal shifts. And so you get, 14, 15-year-olds who are already struggling with that. And so getting kids to move, getting kids to function the way they're designed to is very, very important.
Okay, so when your muscles begin to get kind of set in that way, you add insult to injury because it doesn't feel so good when you stretch back to the correct position. So you just default, I guess,
Yes.
into that poor posture. So you were going to show us a little bit, just a couple of things that we can do from home, sitting wherever we are this morning, as an example, I guess, of what it is that you do.
Yeah, sure. So, I do exercises against the wall, on the floor, in a chair, anything we can utilize to put your body into alignment and take you out of your compensation that you have while standing or moving. So one way, sitting in a chair, a lot of times people if you're sitting in a chair, this is the majority of us, right? Got that rounded upper back, and so you want to always lead with your hips. So you want to roll your hips forward, and you want to create that arch in the back here. And that creates stability in the pelvis and stability in your upper back, and so you're sitting up nice and tall, versus trying to, like you said, trying to force yourself into that proper alignment. Lead where the problem lays, and so lead with the pelvis, and sitting up like that definitely already changes your sitting posture. And there's a couple things you can do. We can do something called elbow curls, where you bend your fingers into your palm, you sit up tall, put them to the side of your temple, open your blades and your elbows, pull them back, rotate in and out. And doing this 25 times at your desk while you're reading an email or listening to a Zoom call or whatever it may be, already creates that upper thoracic opening at the top, gives you that lateral movement, so forces you into a much better upright position. So when you go to get out of that chair, you're going to lead with your hips, versus you're rounded all day long, you got to go take a bathroom break, and you just use your upper body to heave yourself out of the chair. Once again, creating those bad dysfunctional movements in your body.
Okay, so fun fact, while you were doing that, I was doing it. Here I am, 51. Chandler is 26. He was doing it too in the studio. It feels great. I mean, you feel instantly better, and I wanted you to show us that because it doesn't hurt. What you do is not anything aggressive to your body.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, I love that you bring that up, because a lot of people, when they're in pain, they'll go to the gym or they'll go try to work out and they hurt, because they're doing the wrong thing, and they tell me, I can't do that, I can't do a squat because my knee hurts, and so we figure out what the root cause is, and then we recreate muscles in those areas, the muscle function in the area, so that any exercise you're doing with me, if you feel pain, we stop and we figure out why.
Okay.
We don't push through it, because the body's telling us something's wrong. I can't do this. I can't do that. So instead of not doing that, we have to take a step back and figure out, well, if your left knee is hurting, maybe your right one is dysfunctional and overworking the left side. So we have to always look at the opposite side.
Okay, so let me ask you something real quickly. I'm going to let you run. I know that your sessions, if you will, kind of run basically 8 to like 12 or 16 weeks, depending on the person's need, right?
Uh-huh.
They can come to you at the studio you have in Fort Oglethorpe, but you can also come to them. So if you're coming to them, could you still have a husband and wife who use you to direct each of them in their own appropriate program, but you're there at the same time?
Yes, exactly. I've got packages for couples, families. Just I show up and we all do it together, evaluate. Sometimes husbands and wives like to see each other get evaluated just to see what's going on with each other's posture. But then you will each have something different, because you may have a similar lifestyle, different body posture, different function, different issues. So you will be treated differently.
All right, it is a fantastic concept. Thank you. We'll be doing this all day.
Oh, awesome.
It's Vita Zakharodny with Posture Solutions Therapy. You can call her, 991-2920. You can find her online, posture-solutions.com. She's on Facebook and Instagram, but she also has the studio down there in Fort Oglethorpe. It's called Mune Studio on Battlefield Parkway. The address there on your screen. Thank you so, so much, Vita. Great to meet you this morning.
You too. Thank you so much.
Total Concept special order sale customers.